Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you, not another peep.
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Then lock your door. 5, 6, gonna crucifix.
You got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Danny Bonin here.
And can you introduce me, please?
Along with us is Scotty Bonin. We are
the Blood Brothers.
And
The Rob.
the Rob coming in on cellular
Cellulite
phone. On
phone.
cellular phone.
Cellular phone. No Skype for him today.
Rob's being
No,
attacked
no.
by all the Asian techies, hackers, or something.
Your shit got hacked.
Exactly.
Virus.
Exactly. I'm being attacked by Russia right now as we speak.
Yes.
You have the virus. Damn it. Sorry, I just wanted you to introduce me because your voice sounded so good in the microphone.
I don't know what the fuck that was all about.
I had to pop that on you. Pop quiz. No.
All right, Candyman 2. Well, it's technically not called Candyman 2.
Farewell to the flesh.
It's called Farewell to the Flesh. Candyman. Farewell to the Flesh.
Oh,
It's the second one, though.
Down here in the bayous.
In the bayou.
In New Orleans, Louisiana.
This is where Candyman was from, in the bayou.
Yeah, he's born and raised. New Orleans. God, tons of Mardi Gras stuff going on here. People just fucking on the streets and shit.
Does that actually happen in Mardi Gras?
Up on the terraces.
People just out in public screwing?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure. I've never been, but I'm almost positive.
I've been down there, but not during Mardi Gras.
Yeah, we were down there. I'd like to go during Mardi Gras just to see it. I don't think that happens.
I don't know.
Maybe back in 1995 when this movie was made, but probably not nowadays.
Back in 1995, when I was yay tall.
Back in 95.
Back
God,
in 95.
we were
geez.
10 years old.
10, yep. Scotty's wife wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, she was. She was 1 year old. She was 1 year old at this point. So she was born in 94. 94.
God, he's
Lordy.
a cradle robber.
I am. Whatever. So this movie was pretty good.
Out of the womb, into my room.
Dude, that's how I like him.
God.
She's too old for me now. She's 23. Too old for me, man.
Oh my!
Just joking.
God.
Old enough to pee, old enough for me.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
That's. I thought it was bleed. I thought it was old enough to bleed.
Either or. I just made
No.
up the pee one.
No, you were saving the. You knew it was a bleed one, but you didn't want to say that because that's fucked up.
The best one is out of the womb into my room. Hey.
Ooh, yeah.
I got that one built from Bill Thornbury. We were texting. He said that.
Because that's all he goes for. College kids, college girls.
Out of the womb into my room. Then he flipped his collar and went, "Hey."
He's got his Fonz. He's got his leather jacket back from 1968.
That was when you two were like clinking Zima bottles together in like a Cheers.
Oh
It
yeah,
was hot as hell.
We clinked the shit out of those bottles.
Chink.
Yep. We were in a van across the street from a high school. Actually, it was a middle school.
Driving by high schools. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. Don't drive by those high schools. You got to be. Those kids are too old.
Yeah, high schools. Jeez.
It's like,
what do you
Bill,
want?
come on, man.
What do you want? A gilf? Grandma?
Those freshmen are all
That
stuck
sick son of a bitch, Bill.
Yeah, those freshmen. They're too stuck up by that time.
Mm-hmm.
They're too picky.
Yep. Going out for their jocks and shit.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that is bad.
Candyman
all
2.
Bill. No.
Farewell to not 2. I already
That's
made
the second
mistake.
one, though.
So 95.
1995.
Well, what started this conversation, I guess.
What the hell happened to Helen? Where's Virginia Madsen risen from the grave? I thought she was pissed off.
Yeah,
she's gonna start killing people.
She's supposed to be the new Candyman. So
what the hell?
They did not expect to be making a sequel, so that's probably why they ended it that way.
Yeah.
And now that they did make a sequel, now that the first one had so much success, they knew they probably had to keep Candyman in there instead of switching it to Helen. Although, I don't know. I think it would have been cool if the new thing was Helen, but that just doesn't sound as cool.
Or if she was there, like kind of like her sidekick and killing people with him.
Yes.
But
it just doesn't sound as cool when you're like, you're supposed to, I dare you to go in the bathroom and say Helen 5 times in the mirror.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like
Helen.
If there was like a phrase or something like hellish Helen.
Yeah.
Hellish Helen.
Yeah.
Helen, what do you want? No, not you, Mom.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Hell in.
I was trying to summon the dark mistress of the underworld.
It seems like if you were to say Helen in the mirror 5 times, like a grandma would just appear and bake a pie for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
You called and I came, honey. Here's your pie.
We came all the way down from the flood in Lion.
You know what's the shitty thing is that she just talked to me the other day again. I was doing yard work with no shirt on actually, and she came.
Ooh,
up,
she was hot and horny.
and you could tell that she was just waiting to.
She wanted to grab
you.
you.
Like kept looking. She kept looking over, and I kept not looking because I just knew as soon as I looked at her, she would walk over. So I eventually, as I was bringing the lawnmower back around through the gate, I was like, I better just say, hey. So I just looked over and went, hey. And just immediately started walking across the street.
Oh,
right,
shit. Do you need help pulling some weeds?
It's like, hey. Oh, it had nothing to do with what I was doing. She beelined across the street right when I said, hey. Oh, hey, yep, came down. We've been here 3 years now. How you liking the neighborhood? I'm like, we've literally had this conversation twice.
Shit.
Already.
Here we go about the flood. Here's the neighborhood again.
Oh, all over again. We were up in Lyons.
She must have like Alzheimer's.
We
or
were
something.
up in Lyons and came down, but we couldn't leave our church. I was like, oh, so you go to commute to church?
Yeah, I
huh?
remember that.
Yep. Someone comes and picks us up, takes me to church. Yep. You know the Broncos are playing tomorrow. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good idea.
I got away.
You should have just waved and not said anything, and then just
You're looking really,
beeline it to your backyard.
Looking really good out there without your shirt on. You know.
Can I feel you? Can I feel your muscles?
Why don't you come on back to my place? I'll give you a little Debbie. For all your hard work.
Muscly bound lawn boy.
I got push pops too.
Oh God.
Why don't you come on in for a nice fudgesicle?
I've got Flintstones push pops for you, waiting right here.
Yeah, Flintstones.
Then she leans in. You know, when I'm lonely, I like to push pop one right up into my vagina.
Ma'am, I gotta leave now.
My vagina, where the Thompsons.
Yeah. Where the Thompsons live. They live? What? Never mind. Go.
Yes. So.
Okay.
So, anyways,
how is this relating to what we were talking about?
I totally forgot now. Candyman.
Helen. We were talking about Helen.
Because Danny's the Thompsons across the street, or Mrs. Thompson. She would have been all over that hot Candyman.
Yeah, that's right. Those push pops,
true.
the Candyman. Yep.
Candyman's just throwing it out there, and nobody's picking up on it. He's be my flesh, and they're all just like, I'm kind of seeing somebody right now.
Yeah.
And then she kills her husband, and then he comes back and he's like, now will you date me?
Yeah.
My mom's kind of a racist, and I don't think she'd like us dating. Then he kills her mom. How about now?
Yeah.
I'm kind of not really into guys with only one hand.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like this thing I have. Oh, son of a bitch. Really?
Yeah. He's like, I was promised that when I put this hook in here that it would attract the ladies and I'd be a badass. But obviously that's not happening.
quote unquote, he says, "Swallow your horror and let it nourish you. Come with me and sing the song of misery. Share my world." He had a lot of those stand out.
And then they all reject him, and then he looks around to make sure no one's watching, pops the hook out, and pleasures himself with the hole.
Ooh, yikes! That would be good. Is he going pleasuring behind or in front?
No, with the hole that the hook was in.
Oh, yes. He's taking the hook out and putting the hole on.
Since that wound never heals, it's nice and lubed with blood.
That's right.
I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. I actually wrote down that one because there was some clever ones today.
So we already said in the last episode that Bernard Rose did the first script for this because that was in his contract as part of the original, which he adapted from Clive Barker's short story, Midnight Meat Train, which was obviously then made into a different movie later on.
Which was awesome.
Yes,
that was an awesome
yes,
movie.
It was. But they trashed it, so they did not use his script. Someone else wrote the script. And Bill Condon directed, and I feel like, did we mention him last episode?
Bill Condon.
Because his name sounded super familiar, and it might be because we just mentioned him last episode. But
I don't think we mentioned him.
He had done some film called Sister Sister before this that sort of bombed. And then he was then put into what he coined the term, I don't know, he probably didn't coin the term, but what he termed movie jail, which meant he did, his next 5 movies were all just cable TV movies, which, yeah, I guess it's considered movie jail. Then, so he fought real hard to get this to direct it, and finally convinced Clive and one of the producers, and then finally got the go ahead from Propaganda Films. But he came in late in the game. They were already had been writing, and pre-production was well underway. And he said this is the latest that he's ever come in to a film before. This is the latest he's ever came before.
Wow. Yeah, he came
Super late.
He came in late.
It's
good to come late than early, though.
Yeah,
right?
And he's only came late once. I mean,
jeez, I feel sorry for him.
Usually he comes early. But one time he came late.
Yeah, we've
really worked this one over.
We've seen this
of it.
before.
I'll remember it forever.
We're done with that one now.
This one we see more of like the backstory of Candyman. We get he's still a mean guy, but we see and like a kid came up with his name. He tasted honey, and then he came up with the name Candyman.
People didn't. This movie got a lot of bad reviews when it came out. I think. I mean, that always happens with sequels. Someone the first one blows up, and then Texas Chainsaw 2 comes out, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened?" And
well, Texas Chainsaw 2 was legitimately what the fuck just happened.
Yeah, that was
true.
That was all over the place.
I was legitimately like, what did I just watch?
This you can follow pretty good. That one was like, what the fuck?
TCM2
entertaining
though. It's nowhere near the low caliber of Exorcist 2, but it was just a little weird and wild and crazy. And some people love it because of that, but I just meh.
No, gratuitous diet soda violence.
Yes,
is just where I draw the line.
Product. The only thing they left out was what they call them, flat top. What was
flat top.
Was flat top like pausing and smiling at the camera, holding a Diet Coke. That's the only thing that was missing.
Yeah, basically.
A lot of people complained because this. In the first movie, we even talked about this in the last episode. It was almost like, was Candyman real, or is it just you going crazy and killing these people? And we almost didn't really know that throughout the entire movie. And it was more like prevalent in the first hour, and then the last half hour, he started popping up more, and you're like, oh, maybe he is real. But now in this one, I think a lot of fans and what the reviews are saying is that this really gave him a literal. He is Candyman. He's there. It's not in anyone's head. He's killing people, which it could be good or bad. But I think a lot of the fans at first didn't like it. And you see this happen. It's sort of bullshit. You see this happen with a lot of sequels, mainly sequels. The first one comes out, it gets super praised. The second one comes out, they're like, "Oh my god, it's fucking horrible."
Yeah, even if it's decently
and
good.
then even like maybe the third one will come out, and you're like, oh, well. But then it seems like after time, every movie is just amazing and a classic. Have you ever noticed that? If you literally
every first movie or every sequel,
just every movie, every single movie. If you just go on IMDb or Amazon, and if you were to look at
it's like part two. It'd be like part one, like 90% Rotten Tomatoes. Part two, like 20. Part three, like 30, and then part 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everybody's like, no, it sucks, but it's a classic.
Yeah,
it's a classic now.
So just in general, if you go on like Amazon and you look at star ratings, any movie in the last 5-10 years, you just see like a ton of not the best ratings. Like, oh. But then it might be even, like a lot of 5 stars, some 2 stars. But if you go look at any movie that was like made before 85, they're all like 5 stars. Like every single movie. You know, even I bet if you went on Amazon and Exorcist 2, it has like 5 stars or 4.5 stars. Simply,
just talking Rotten Tomatoes?
Ooh, that's a challenge right there. I don't know.
I don't know about Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm saying like on Amazon user reviews.
Oh, okay.
Because
it's true.
Just people reviews.
Because it just seems like once a movie becomes classic or nostalgic, everyone instantly gives it like 5 stars. Oh, that's when. Oh, yeah. That's back when they did this right, or back when they did that, or back when they, everyone likes to say shit like that.
Exorcist 2 has a 3.7 rating out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah,
20% Rotten Tomatoes.
Look on, see if there's Amazon. See if it's on Amazon.
Amazon Video.
Oh, I'm sure there's got to be an Amazon review of that.
Amazon 661 3.7 out of no. Let's see. Yeah, it's 3 out of 5 stars.
See, look at that shit. I mean, that's not the best. It's not 4, but 3 out of 5. Come on, that movie's fucking horrible.
Yep. See, there it is.
Oh Lord, it's only 61 reviews.
Yep, only 61.
All right,
but 30% is 1 star, and 34 is 5 star. Yeah, so it's But it's crazy.
We had our friend from Alien, Veronica Cartwright, in here, play Lambert in Alien. She played the grandmother.
Oh yeah, she played.
She was also in The Birds, and she was in Body Snatchers. And
yeah, that's right, Veronica Cartwright.
All I remember is her just being hysterical from Alien, and of course she actually was. We talked about that already in the chest bursting scene because she had no idea the caliber of what was about to happen.
Yeah,
and then she got splattered with blood in her face.
Then we have Timothy Cartwright, who played, who was in Black Sheep, that played the brother's like assistant. That's all I recognize him from.
Yeah, I didn't really. I knew I recognized
Paul,
him from something.
He played the husband, and
then I was looking through his filmography, and I'm like, I don't recognize him from any of these, and I must have not gone far enough to see Black Sheep because that's the zinger. That's what rings the bell.
He kind of looks like Paul Reiser,
sort of
a little bit, kind of. But
and now whenever I think of Paul Reiser, I just think asshole only and solely because of Aliens.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing I can think of because as a kid growing up, that's the first thing I saw him in. I loved Aliens so much that whenever I see Paul Reiser in anything, I just think he's a stupid asshole.
Yeah. And then we get Kelly Rowan, who's the lead, who plays Annie, which Annie Tarrant. I don't really recall her from anything. The Gate. She was in The Gate, which is a Stephen King.
She was on The OC, man.
The OC?
Rob, did you watch The OC?
No, The Gate's not Stephen King.
The OC.
Sorry.
I was forced to watch it with Shannon in her college dorm room.
Oh, that's one of those addicting shows too.
You were forced to watch the OC.
You know how that shit goes. You watch like 4 episodes and then you're hooked, even though it's a stupid, dumb show. California, here we come. As a sun.
I didn't watch that much to know the song.
My little brother loved the OC. When I don't know, he's 4 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So he was watching it like, TiVoing that crap. He had to have it.
Yeah, Shannon was obsessed. She owns all the seasons. They're in my entertainment center thing over here. So I try to keep it towards the back so if people come over they can't see it. Mm-hmm. It's like hidden behind my Nightmare on Elm Street collection with Freddy with the claw behind his back.
Although, I mean, there are some Freddy Krueger movies that I would rather watch the OC than
That might be true. At
Yeah.
least
Oh,
you
yeah.
can watch some of the girl folk in the OC. Ain't too shabby. Of course, now they're a lot older.
Some of the reviews.
And the main guy's in Gotham now.
Oh yeah, yep. Gotham.
who was the main
with?
girl in the OC?
I don't remember
Was it
her
what?
name.
Misha, Misha Collins or
Or
something?
Misha Barton?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Misha Barton, I think. I forgot. I think her name and it was
Misha?
like... It wasn't it? I don't
Misha,
know.
yeah, it is Misha Barton. Yep.
What's her name in the OC? Does it say?
Marissa Cooper.
Oh, yeah, Marissa. Coop. Hey, Coop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking marathon the shit out of all seasons tonight.
Yeah. How many
I'm just
freaking
joking.
seasons are there?
There's like 7 or 6. I don't even know.
Like 15 episodes to a
watch
season or
that,
something?
But you give
Yeah.
me crap about Jersey Shore.
Oh,
Yeah, those are
OC's
comparable.
Any work of fiction is 100 times better than the reality that is the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, because that was fiction.
No.
Jersey Shore was like real drama. Of course, I think a lot of that drama was set up to make people watch the show more.
Fucking Jersey
Which
Shore.
all shows are. Well, all reality shows are like that. It seems like. So that's just how they are. Jersey Shore knows.
Greatest show ever made.
No.
At least we don't watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Scotty does.
Not me.
Scotty watches all that dumb
I do not know.
shit.
My wife has not. No, I don't watch that anymore because Liz used to have that on. But now she's on this whole RuPaul's Drag Race. That's what she watches all the time now.
Oh, Lordy.
And I've been having to sit through that a lot.
Why do people watch anything when there's just tons of movies out there? You just watch movies all
TV
the
shows
time.
too?
I'm just watching movies all the time.
Yeah. So
Can we just talk about? Can we just make this podcast about the finale of Game of Thrones? Can we just talk about
Yes.
that the whole time?
I don't watch
so
Game of
good.
Thrones.
Can we just talk about that the whole time?
I could talk about that forever. And the
What
2
happened?
episodes
What
before
happened
it.
in the finale
Rob, you
of
would-
Game of Thrones?
You
Rob-
can't tell. You can't say it.
Rob, you would love it. There's possibly some incest, and you're from the South, and you know,
There's always incest in Game of Thrones.
I know you like that down there.
Oh yeah, there's the main
Well, I mean,
characters are incest.
We don't.
One of the two.
Like not
Two of the two.
like it.
Rob's like, it's not incest if it's with your dog.
It's not incest if your sister's really hot. If your cousin's really hot.
So Candyman was shot mostly in Nolans. Well, the exteriors mostly in Nolans, but a lot of interiors were in L.A. For example, the police station was in like the old Wells Fargo or no Bank of America building in L.A. where they also used it for filming Seven and The Mask, two movies that are very much the same. I'm just joking. I'm fucking
Yeah, the bank scene when Ethan shatters that window, the detective really freaks out really bad. He's like, I'm like, calm down, buddy.
They're like another example of where everything was. She's in her lofty looking apartment with her husband. You know.
Oh yeah, the jump scare
Speaking of that, I mean,
when someone touches the shoulder.
that's at their house.
That's at the house.
But let me get to that after I talk about this. So that her apartment was in L.A., but then she walks out onto the balcony, or maybe this was her mom's.
Yeah, her mom's
I forgot.
place.
Like the inside was L.A. Then she walked out into the balcony, which is in New Orleans. And then another scene when she's back in there is on a sound stage on set in L.A. So they shot this all over the place.
Jeez.
But the thing about the jump scares I was going to say is I watched commentary with Bill Condon. I just want to say Condom.
Bill
I don't know why.
Condon.
But I watched commentary with Condon, and he admittedly...
You were with him? You were sitting with him?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's not doing anything. I invited him over.
Yeah, good man.
Actually, he is. He directed the new Beauty and the Beast film.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And others
That's
before
why
that.
I recognize his name.
But I was watching commentary, and he admittedly and regretfully put in way too many jump scares. He said,
Yeah.
he said that because of his previous feature film work, which really only consisted of Sister, they were afraid to give this film to him because they didn't know if he could make it scary enough. And basically, he was thinking, "Oh, I'll show them," and then just put in like 25 jump scares.
Well, there was a lot of those where like it's just like Paul and Annie that are scaring each other. Or, well, they're scaring the audience. Like she's painting and he comes up behind her and touches her shoulder, and there's a big beep. And then when they're in the house, coming outside the house, he's like telling the guys to get away from the car, and she touches his shoulder, and then there's a boom again. Like, it's
like
just her.
The most ridiculous one is when the first one you talked about, when he comes up behind her, because it makes the weirdest fucking high noise ever, just for him being behind her. It's like, whee!
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? He just walked up behind her.
Yeah, so that was like, okay, whatever. And then we have the
we should just do a video. We should do some short films of just normal life, but with intense jump scares in it.
And a lot of movies have that.
You're like shitting, and you go to grab the toilet paper, and your wife's right there getting out of the shower.
A lot of movies have that though. They have those sounds when there's supposed to be a jump scare. It's weird sounds that make you jump.
Yeah.
What was up with the radio guy, like narrator guy, kind of that was throughout the whole movie?
It was.
You will go down the street in New Orleans.
I can't think of his name now. Kingfish, right? Kingfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
96.2. The Killings. It was like
Kingfish.
The radio station, The Killings, or something.
They all. Condon talked about. He ended up not really wanting to use that character or not make him so over the top when it actually showed him being this fat bearded party guy.
Yeah. He was like
whatever.
I pictured him being kind of black, but he really wasn't. He was like a white guy, kind of.
Yeah,
but,
just kind of black. He thought he was just going to be kind of black.
like you know, like a lighter black. No, but anyways, we see a Game of Thrones character in the scene that's in the house. One of the bums. There's Alfie Allen.
That's not.
I was joking.
It looks like
Theon.
It does look like Theon. I almost looked it up, and then in my head I was like, nope, he'd be way too old
Not in 1995
for that. Yeah. Wait, Rob, we're talking about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. That house was pretty freaky, though.
No, that house was. I've worked in New Orleans, and yeah, there's just creepy,
some weird shit,
bum mansions everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, bum mansions.
Yeah.
So they just go in there. They're vacant, abandoned houses, and they just go set up their sleep, hang out, and that's where they live.
Also known as bum mansions.
Bum mansion.
How does one set up their sleep? I was just curious about that.
Bum mansion.
That's what Scotty said.
How does one set up? They put the sleeping bag on the floor. They put the pillow, and that's it.
Now their sleep is set up.
They set up their sleep there.
The score was basically. I was really glad that they pretty much kept the same score as the first one, although they didn't nail it as much or drill it in as much.
Yeah, they brought back Philip Glass, right? So,
well, all they did. Philip had written about 30 minutes of music for the first one, and they cut it into the first one, which we talked about last episode. And so really they just used a bunch of it that he had made from the first one. But they did track him down, and he did write some more stuff. Like there is an Annie's theme that's played a few times throughout when it's Annie doing something. And then he wrote music for the whole flashback sequence towards the end where he's getting all beat up and shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks
he's getting
to him.
Beat up.
He was getting beat and beat up. Yeah, they definitely touched on him a lot with him, getting beat up, and we actually saw what happened there. And then of course the twist with him getting Caroline, his wife, pregnant. And
twist.
Sorry. Corn. You're doing corn, right? Yeah. But the backstory was cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There was so much bad reviews for this. Like people are calling it an abomination compared to the first one, and I really didn't think it was that bad.
And we talked about why a little bit because of them possibly making Candyman a solid thing and not a figment of an imagination anymore. Another thing that they were still semi-consciously doing the race thing in this. I didn't really realize some of these things until I watched it with commentary, but when she's painting a portrait of herself and you see it,
that's where the jump scare is.
It is. Yeah, who could forget that?
Yeah,
Jesus
of course.
Christ.
That's like my favorite scene.
So you see the self-portrait, and in the movie, I was just sort of thought to myself, wow, she's just a really bad painter. That's not a very good portrait at all.
She's got like a double chin going on there.
She's all blotchy and shit.
She has some peach fuzz like beard going on.
But then I watch it with commentary, and Bill Condon says that she's struggling with this identity crisis throughout the movie because she has this unresolved past where she is, they have this black ancestor, and she doesn't really know who she is, and she can't really self-identify until she figures this all out. And so as you notice, she can't really paint herself. She can't really do it. And in the mirror, she even says, "Who am I?" And I wouldn't have got that.
I missed all that. What the hell?
All I saw was a fucking shitty self-portrait. Yeah, that was it for that. So.
Oh my Lord! God, that was loud.
Oh, picturing of. Speaking of shitty, right into my underwear.
Holy
Lord above!
balls.
I gotta remember to just have a plastic bag nearby to shit
You need
into.
to prepare me for that next time, man. God,
that means it's time for the horror halftime pouch boy.
Over here.
Okay, some good memes this week. Yeah.
Yes, sir, Bobby.
Yeah, big gulps, huh? Awesome. We do have a wiener.
Vinna.
Mainly from participation. Although he did submit a few memes, and they weren't too bad. But new fresh blood. So our horror freak of the week is Randy Snodgrass.
Ooh, nice.
Snodgrass. Randy Snodgrass.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah,
it does.
Super fancy. So shoot us a message on the page, on the Facebook page, Cult Classic Horror, and we'll send you something. So next week, get in your Candyman 2 memes.
Candyman 2.
Like,
bees action.
Like we're giving out participation awards here. So
if you send a meme, you're like, you have a pretty good chance of winning some free stuff.
Yeah. So just do it. Just fucking do it.
Takes like 3 minutes. No biggie.
All right.
Hey, you get all kinds of free goodies. I mean, I had to pay for my own shirt.
Yeah.
I don't even get free stuff.
Maybe we would give out free stuff if he would at least make sure that he could record professionally on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not my fault that it's not my fault that the shadow government is slowly tracking me down, obviously.
All right, well, that concludes the horror halftime.
Beautifully
concluded.
Did you guys notice when Annie's brother was falling down the steps that he was replaced with a stuntman?
I didn't actually.
He suddenly had long ass hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
What the fuck?
Oh, no. Well, they snuck one by me. They got one by me.
There's a couple other ones, too.
They got one, but there's this guy at the theater who bartends. Our parents own a dinner theater. If you haven't listened to this podcast for a long time, then our parents own a dinner theater, Scotty and I's. And so there's this guy who volunteers basically to bartend every weekend, and he's been doing this for 15, 20 years.
Yeah, like 20 years.
Like 15, like 15
like
years.
18, 17, 18.
And he's like, he just talks nonstop, but he's like, I can't watch movies. I can't go to movies because I just sit there and I pick out every single thing wrong with technicalities like continuity and if the clock hand didn't move and it was supposed to, or if it's at a different time, or if his jacket's on a different way than it was in the cut before that. He's like, I just can't watch movies. Like how much of a stiffler fucking stick up the ass person do you have to be that you can't even watch movies whatsoever?
Because you have to forgive some of those things
because you notice every little thing wrong with it. I mean, you would have to be watching the movie just laser beam eyes, focus, searching for that shit.
Yeah, I mean this movie was pretty predictable, but I still watched it and enjoyed watching it. And there's a lot of stuff you see, just like what I just said. Yeah. But you can't be a stickler like that.
You can't live life like that, Rob. You can't do it.
Nah, man. You just take all the joy out of it. The one thing I will say is me and the panda were watching this one together, and she was pretty pissed off about the whole about the snow cone man, the old man getting the axe in
Oh,
this.
yeah.
And she brought up a point. Not everybody in this movie said Candyman.
That's true.
Yeah, because he didn't.
Her husband didn't say Candyman.
The snow cone guy.
Her mom didn't say Candyman. The snow cone guy didn't say Candyman.
I think.
And this isn't like what I guess what people were complaining about. This isn't like the first one to where you're kind of like, maybe it's Helen that's doing this.
Yeah.
No, this is straight up Candyman. Just not follow. I mean, he just. She didn't even call him, did she? I mean, she didn't even call him.
No, she did. She did it in the classroom to prove the kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, so she had to call him, and then the book author guy had to call him. But then after that, he's kind of like, nah, he just runs around.
It's like she's the prima donna that causes everyone else to die. Sort of like Kirsty in Hellraiser. You know, she opens the box and for like the third time in a row, she just keeps making deals with him and doesn't die, while just tens of people are dying all around her because of her.
Yeah, well, Kirsty's a dealer. Kirsty knows what's going on. Like, I mean, she's pretty good.
Well, this happened in the first one too, though, where Virginia Madsen is like getting Candyman's at her apartment, and then her friend comes in the apartment, and Candyman kills her friend.
Yeah,
too.
so that it does happen. In the beginning.
I think it's if you're around the person who said Candyman, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah,
like if you're in the same room as them, they're going to kill you, or he's going to kill you.
I'm ready to see some of the fans on the page. I want to see some videos of them calling Candyman.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think that should be the horror halftime.
Maybe
right
it should. Send in your video of you saying Candyman
standing
5
in front
times
of the mirror. Yep. I bet you a ton of people have done it.
I want to see people summoning Candyman.
I've actually was going to do it the other night, but I was kind of hesitant.
If you send videos of you summoning Candyman, then we'll just send you some stuff. Just do it.
And if you get hooked through the back, that's even more. We'll send you a bunch of shit.
That's not disclaimer. That's not our problem. If you get hooked in the back.
Yeah, that's
yeah, exactly. No,
right
we won't be held responsible for any of that.
No, I think now, since Tony Todd's getting older, if you just say Candyman 5 times, Clive Barker appears behind you and jams it up your ass.
Yeah, because it was his idea.
Yeah. You hear a sweet little "I'm here" in your ear right before you get it shoved up your ass.
Yeah.
You called. I came. And now I am going to come.
All over you.
Get it? Because I came, but now I'm going to come.
Clive Barker shows up. How old is Clive Barker? Like, I don't even know. He's probably older than Tony Todd.
Yeah, that's probably true. Well, I don't know. Tony Todd was almost 40.
Yeah.
Number one. So,
Tony Todd's looking pretty good in this.
So the house that they used... this is a different thing, too, because in the first one, they made such a big deal about using Cabrini Green and saying, this is modern or urban horror. This isn't like haunted house, gothic horror. We're bringing it to the streets so people can actually relate, because you would be afraid to go into a Cabrini Green and not know what's going to happen. Well, Condon did admit that, we just took it back to a scary house again. But... I
like the house.
And this amazes me. The house was like pristine condition when they went to use it. So the set decorators and designer put it into that state of rundownness. That's a word.
Damn.
And
all the graffiti and stuff too?
All that shit. And some of that was filmed in a soundstage. Candyman's lair was in the studio.
Like with the candles and him with his hook and the big mouth.
But inside the house wasn't. And then when they filmed the flashbacks there, he went back and made it all pristine again, and for the flashbacks. Jeez. So it literally went from a okay house to a real shit house to a real nice house.
God, to be the set designer crew, man, I'd be like, fuck, we got to paint all this again.
Yeah,
this sucks. Damn it! Come on, Condon.
And then
2 houses.
Also, the cheap looking slave house out back of the main house.
Oh yeah, that was that the that was a slave house. It looked like an old greenhouse or something.
He had made it.
That looked really rough.
Yeah, Condon fully admitted that was a miniature, and they did not do a very good job with it.
Oh, yeah, it did look like a
No,
miniature.
they did that whole thing to where the guy, he was like, "Oh, well, your bedroom's got the nice view," and they look out the window,
Matte
and
painting.
It's pretty immediate. Like, oh, that's awful.
I think he said that.
That is really
I think he
bad.
said that specific cut was digitized or digital shot.
It was-
But yeah,
Yeah, it looked rough.
that
For
was
the look
so
of the
bad.
outside, it was extremely large on the inside, like
You might
3
have-
stories.
You might as well have just cut to like a PA holding up a colored pencil drawing of the house.
Yeah, it was rickety. Man, that looked bad.
They're looking out the window. Oh, look at that! Cut to crayon drawing. Cut back.
Then of course, it must have started raining like crazy because then it flooded out.
Yeah, the
In a
whole
matter
thing
of
broke
minutes.
apart. Condon called it the Wizard of Oz shot because the house sort of twirled in the background as it went off into to the flood right after she jumps out the window.
Yeah.
So yeah,
God.
that one, a little less than not on par with that one there. They also, I didn't really notice this either, but they changed his coat, and they did change the hook up.
Oh
a little
yeah, they
bit too.
did have the coat, the fur, the pimp coat.
They thought that that's exactly what they said. They thought the coat looked too pimpy, and early '90s.
Definitely
pimp.
a pimp coat.
So they did their own Armani version of Candyman. He's getting fancy.
He was looking good.
He looted the place in the first one, he stole some money, and now he can afford some things now.
Yeah, Tony Todd quoted. He said the challenge for him was he did it once, it worked, but one of the worst things to do as an actor is repeat himself, which I don't really get because a lot of actors do it. But I think he's solely, he got the paycheck. So in spite of all the physical challenges,
check cleared.
Yeah, check cleared. John Carpenter, he told him that. He gave him that advice.
Yeah.
But he thought he was able to do it good to reinvent himself, and it turned out for the best. Which I thought his character was good in this.
I just thought it was the same.
Yeah, it was exactly
which is
the same.
good. Which was good both times.
What was up with-
He had even more he had even more speeches in this one for sure.
I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom.
He did say, Bill Condon did talk about how Tony Todd came to him with about 10 different ways to say Annie in the first scene there when he comes.
Really?
In the movie.
Annie.
Yeah, that's what he settled on in the movie. Annie. But Bill's like, you could tell he really thought about it and really cares about the character. He had 10 different ways to say Annie.
Jeez, his first line. Then the rest of the lines don't matter. Just the first one needs to have a good start off.
Annie. Yeah, so I don't know.
You guys, so the scene where she says Candyman 5 times, there's the mirror and the sink that's in the middle of the classroom for some reason. But then the bee comes on the window there. And
that bee came all over that
all
window.
on the window.
He just had a Clive Barker size load all over the window.
That bee was he came so fast that the bee fell on his backside.
Blasted himself right off of that thing.
But it's weird, like the kid's looking at it, and like she ignores the whole class and comes up behind him and puts her hand on his shoulder, and like he like grabs her hand, and they're like consoling each other. I'm like, what the fuck is just a bee?
That was a weird shot. I don't know what's going on there.
But they probably know the backstory of Candyman with the bee and stuff.
Speaking of the bees, obviously they used them again. They had a bee wrangler again, and in one part it's a little obvious what part is it? Oh, where she scratches his face open.
Oh yeah, that looked like a fake
Oh yeah,
face.
it's just a latex head.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean the head is very obviously latex.
Looks like no nostrils, like no nose on it.
But then when the bees start coming out and it cuts back to her, you sort of see a clump of bees like flop down on her, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like blocking them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Bill Condon talked about how they would the guy would have a styrofoam cup of bees and would just sort of chuck it at you, know.
Jeez.
And he's like, that's what that was. That didn't really turn out the best there. Like a clump of bees was thrown at her.
That's kind of how the snow cone guy looked too. He had like a clump of bees on his mouth, a clump on his forehead.
Yeah. And I don't know why it bothered me so much, but when he gave her that cherry snow cone and dripped it all down the side of the cup and on his
He
fingers,
fucked up the pour.
he has one job, and he just dribbles it everywhere.
He's just a dirty old man.
After he got it licked off his arm, he can't even pour it right. God,
No.
son of a bitch.
And they did use. So I said they shot a lot of exteriors in Nolans and NOLA.
Nola.
Nolans.
You can see those houses, those old.
The Crescent City.
A lot of their quote unquote B-roll footage or just footage in between scenes of Nolans was actually shot on the street with just real people just sitting there. And then the kids that are poking at the dead cat and dressed up, they were just some street kids that they used real quick and had him say the lines.
And gave the kid a couple lines there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's such bullshit because nowadays they'd audition like 20 kids for each of those parts and they'd have them in and out.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd have them signing union contracts and all that bullshit.
They were probably walking along and saw the dead cat and the kids. There was probably an actual dead cat there. Like, oh, let's film this.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly, you come walk up. These kids are going to be here. This dead cat. Yeah, it's great. It's perfect. It's a scary scene.
Bill, we need you back on sound. Quit poking the cat with a stick.
Yeah. We need a jump scare sound. Beep, beep.
Bill's doing all the jump scare sounds by mouth.
Yeah.
That's his main job in Hollywood now.
Bill.
I'm confused as to why after she... when is it? Her... right after that scene in the snow cone shop, whatever, when Candyman kills that guy, she like sprints to a hotel room and jumps in the shower. Why? Like, why? Why does she have to jump in the shower?
She takes all her clothes off, which I was kind of hoping for something else, but then
what the fuck?
Goes in the shower.
Why does she jump in the shower? It seems like that scene... Why? Like, just why?
She
I had
had
no
bees
idea why.
on her, and she wanted to wash them off.
Is that why?
I don't know.
That
was
I
weird.
have no idea. It was fucking weird.
Yeah, some of the scenes were kind of random. I kind of felt, but
there was some scattering in here. I didn't also understand that it seemed like it was one big giant mystery that they solved, that Daniel Robitaille, or also AKA Candyman, was born in Nolans when, like, so then if it was such a mystery, then why was the author down there with his book doing the book tour? And it didn't appear that he knew that. It was just really strange. It was like a mystery that didn't really need to be a mystery.
Yeah.
It could have just been like, we figured, like, after Helen murdered all those people, this guy did even more research and found out this and this and this about Candyman. I don't know. It was really strange. Like, the whole little origin story was just kind of,
because like
they were grasping at straws a little bit on this.
Because Annie's mom's mom is Candyman's
daughter, right?
Daughter, or wife, Caroline.
Mom's mom. Maybe that was it. I got lost in all of that. To tell you
and
the
then
truth.
Annie was born in the same house that Candyman was born in, so that's why he's attracted to her, because they're family and wants to come with her.
There was no real reason he was attracted to Helen except that she called out his name.
Yeah. There was. She was
what
the guinea pig.
What happens if, like, is Candyman? Can he be everywhere at once? What happens if everyone starts calling out his name? Is he like, hold on, I'm busy? Like, how does that work?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, What if there's multiple people? He must be able to get the place to places quick.
He hires out a crew. He hires out other black men with hooks and hopes that they don't realize it's not really him.
Well, you see,
like Santa Claus.
Yeah, people are really
he has a whole bunch of them.
People are really disappointed when he shows up and it's not him. They're like, "What the fuck? I called for the real Candyman.
The hell is this?"
Look, he's busy. Okay, he's got stuff going on.
They did take 2 weeks to shoot that finale with the miniature and the water, and obviously the indoor scenes were in a studio with a tank and water, and I guess it was just, when you have water in a place for 10 to 14 days, it's not going to be pleasant, and so it wasn't pleasant.
And of course, Candyman hid his mirror in the most obvious space on that wall.
I think
for
it's
some
stupid
reason.
as fuck that it boils down to a mirror.
What? Yeah,
and it was kind of a weird mirror too. This rich daughter or whatever has this.
It's like
Marilyn Manson dragon mirror, like maybe she was like into goth in the 80s, in the 1880s, I guess.
Because it was Caroline's mirror. In the flashback, like he's dying, and she grabs the mirror out of her dad's hand and doesn't care about him, but just looks at the mirror, and his face like fades away.
I thought she was going to run to him too, but she just runs and grabs the mirror.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what? He's right there.
And then Candyman decides to put his soul and well-being into the most fragile thing ever, to be not broken for centuries to come.
And then he tells Kelly, well, or Annie, if the mirror's broken, I am no more. And she's like, oh, well, I'll just break it then.
Yeah.
No. I told you that in confidence.
Yeah. Stop.
This is the stupidest thing ever. Like,
I thought we were going to be together forever.
Like, have you ever...
Candyman's calling Pinhead. Should I tell her about the mirror? No. See, I've told him about the box.
Yeah.
Just keep,
that fucked everything up.
Sending my ass right back to hell. I wouldn't. But I really like her, Pinhead. I think I should be on. No, don't take my advice. I don't care. See what happens.
At least you can't.
Send you right back to hell. That's fine.
At least you can't break the box. Like, even if the mirror,
true.
I'm surprised the mirror is still intact. I don't think anyone can own a mirror that long just in the storage and not have it break.
Yeah.
Like he should have accidentally been destroyed already.
Because that slave house is like his dominion, right?
And
that's his place.
Yeah, that thing's about to crumble anyways. It would have broken, that mirror would break on its own and he would just die out.
He should have just like buried it like 6 feet under so no one could find it so he could live forever.
I don't know.
But he hides it in the corner.
I don't think he's the last one that had it.
Yeah.
It was the girl.
Yep.
I just think it's dumb that it all boils down to his strength lies in a mirror which is made of glass that breaks easily.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously something happens because there is a Candyman part trace.
3. That's what we'll be talking about next week.
Yes, sir.
I did enjoy the backdrop. I enjoyed the New Orleans stuff. I thought that was
cool. And I actually like the radio guy voice.
For some reason, I love the radio DJ.
Me too.
King Koopa.
Kingfish.
King Koopa or whatever.
That was awesome.
Oh, the mighty Mississippi's waters are all up in there about to spread their seed. I'm like, ooh.
And I like, that was cool.
Ooh.
Fun.
Clive Barker wrote that.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that was a Clive Barker line.
Oh, yeah. I wrote this in my diary last night, and I think we should use it in the movie.
Yeah, that voice makes me cringe.
Hold on here. Can I read it? Hold on. The pages are stuck together. Hold on.
Why are the pages stuck together, Clive?
You don't worry about why the pages are stuck together, okay?
Yeah, but I liked how it was like playing on the radio in the car, and then you see him as the DJ, and then it's like just playing overhead. So that was pretty cool effect to it.
Well, I think that wraps up Candyman 2.
Yeah.
Farewell to the Flesh.
I have one more goof that you guys
do we
have
know
not noticed.
Budget or anything? Well, say that first.
So when Candyman is converted to glass at the end of the movie, the hand that breaks off falls into the water. Clearly is his right hand, but his right hand was the one with the hook. I just looked it up. I just saw this. Yeah. And then, of course, you see his hook floating around in the water after he's down, and then he gets up and he has the hook again. But he could have just grabbed it, I guess.
Hooks don't float.
I know. There wasn't a budget on this, but the box office was $13.9 million. So I did not see a budget.
Not too high there. Oh well.
Yep.
So Candyman 3 Day of the Dead will be next week.
Day of the Dead.
It'll be a fast one. I guess everything's a fast one when you just did 8 weeks of Hellraiser.
Yeah, I know. God.
Yeah, these are going by quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what? We're done with Candyman already?
Well,
Damn.
let's just end with our segment of What Did You Watch this week?
What did you watch?
Got anything, Rob?
WDW.
I watched Demonic, which was a Danny recommendation. I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was good. The ending I kind of thought I saw it coming, but wasn't quite sure. But they pulled it off well. That was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and it had a couple recognizable people in it too. I don't know how it slipped by me.
The woman that played the doctor.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And the guy is in The Purge Anarchy, and I think a couple other things.
Yep.
So.
No, it was really good. I really liked it. That one's a definite recommend.
Yeah,
that's a definite recommend.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yep, yeah, it's on Netflix. Up next, I'm going to try to watch The Devil's Candy.
Yeah, finally.
Oh,
Fuck.
do it, man.
Watch it. Jesus.
You got time. It's still going to be there.
I watched The Conjuring 2
Ooh.
because I told you I watched The Conjuring last week.
Which one do you like better? First or second?
I don't know. You know what? It was hard the second time around to be scared by or enjoy the second because once again, I mentioned last episode, I listened to all the Enfield Poltergeist episodes on last podcast, and then it's just an old man fucking around the whole time, and you're sort of like,
yeah, it's hard to appreciate any of those stories if you can listen to the last podcast on the left, but if you just Google the Warrens and actually read like 2 or 3 articles, you're like, oh, this is full of shit. Like,
well,
like
but that's not even
Ghostbusters is scarier than this crap.
But that's not even it. It's just that in real life that thing's based on, the spirit was like the person who used to live there, an old man, and it's like
Bill.
Bill Wilkins, and it's like he's a child almost, like a senile old man just playing with them. So it would just be hard, even if he's dead and he's a spirit. It's a little hard to be afraid of like a senile old man just knocking shit and making, So I don't know. It was good, but it's a dumb representation of what actually happened. They do have the Maurice Grosse character in Conjuring 2, which is the balding, science-y or professor-looking dude who's in it most of the time. But the portrayal gives all the credit to the Warrens, which they didn't even have anything to do with it. This Maurice Grosse basically gave up his entire life to help the Warrens and be with them throughout this entire haunting. And he gets...
Yeah, wasn't he there for like 2 years?
Oh, yeah. And put his whole life into it, and it was never the same. And this is the kind of credit he gets on Conjuring 2. He's like the side person there,
Yeah, wasn't it like the Warrens showed up uninvited for one day, and they were like, time for you to go. Like, we didn't want you.
No one even invited him.
And now you can leave.
And it was just interesting to see how they put their own ending on it. Like, in The Conjuring 2, it's like the nun spirit. It's like the...
Oh, yeah, the nun.
The nun,
that's right.
The nun spirit is actually the demonic possession that's like holding the old man's spirit hostage and making him haunt them.
Yeah.
And somehow it didn't really make sense. Somehow
the old man's chair.
Somehow had to make them leave. All the people leave that were trying to help. So she was making the old man make them leave so that she could take over or something. I don't know. So
no, it was convoluted.
Yeah, when in real life, the haunting never really. It just kept going on and on and on, and there was never really a resolution. And I think it eventually just stopped after a while. So after like 2 years,
I think they're well done movies though. I mean they did great in box office.
Yeah, it was a well done movie, the visually and everything. So, but I think that was a little long. But I think that's the only one I watched this last week since we've been busy. Was The Conjuring? Yeah, I didn't
watch the movie, but I did watch. I just started watching American Horror Story again. Freak Show, which is supposedly the best season, which is what people always say. So I watched 2 episodes of that, and there's actually some pretty scary stuff in that. I mean, it's a TV series, so it's like, but each season is different, of course, with the same actors playing the characters. Yeah. So I did watch 2 episodes of that, but I didn't get to watch the movie this time.
Well, cool. That wraps up this episode. Make sure you guys get those Candyman memes in, and bonus points if you dare. Post a video in the group. Remember, all this stuff goes in the group. Cult Classic Horror Facebook group, #HorrorHalftime. And if you dare, take a video of yourself calling on the Candyman. Yes.
Then you will be well.
And please, when you take the video, be fully clothed and everything. Yes. Rob, I did this for you, Rob. No one wants to see just your massive bush.
Unless you're a very
I'll tell you one thing right now. I'm not doing that shit. So you don't have any worries about it. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
After you get the podcast, go to the mirror and look in the mirror and just try it.
No, absolutely not.
I think I don't know if many horror fans are or would do any of this because we're all the ones
superstitious.
We're all the ones that know. Like if your kid comes up to you and says, that the doll said something, you just fucking get rid of it right away. We already talked about that.
You burn it
Yeah.
immediately. There's
No
reason
questions
to take
asked.
that kind of risk.
Yeah.
And like,
Have you or Scotty done Candyman
No.
or Bloody Mary?
I think I did Bloody Mary when I was little, but
Yeah.
I think I thought you only had to do it 3 times, when in actuality it's 13 times.
yeah.
That's much. Yeah, you lose that. I don't have that kind of.
See,
Yeah, no.
if I did Candyman, I mean, and nothing would happen, I would still, it'd be in the back of my head like, oh shit, something's going to happen.
Oh,
like,
forever.
tomorrow.
You would
forever.
Every time you stumped your toe, every time you dropped, I would be looking over my shoulder I'd die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
I'd be so stressed out.
I sort of just want to meet Tony Todd, so why not?
I'm here.
Christ, I didn't think when I booked this role I'd have to do this for the rest of my life.
Daddy.
I wonder how many times Tony Todd has been tweeted or Facebook or emailed somebody videoing or taking a
so
selfie
many.
saying
Guaranteed.
Candyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do that if you dare. Post it in the group. # horror halftime.
Robert.
Hey, guys.
Robert.
All right. Well, that wraps up episode. Oh, God, I never say this, but this was episode 90.
90.
We'll have to do something special
10
for the
more to
100.
100. Yes.
Definitely, you guys, head on over to patreon.com/cultclassichorror and help us out if you can. We just want to bring so much more content to you, and with your help, we can do that.
Yes.
Also, you can check us out Facebook, Cult Classic Horror, Twitter, CC Horror, Instagram, Cult Classic Horror.
Everywhere on the interwebs.
Yep. You can follow me at Danny Bonin on Instagram or Twitter.
Same with Scotty Bonin.
And the Rob O'Neill.
Yes, sir.
Find us.
All right. Thanks for joining us, you guys. We will catch you next week.
Catch you next week, Ash.
Yeah, guys, later.
Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.